Hello, my name is Chris. I guess what we're doing is somehow showing you a way to paint some techniques. I'll go through painting different stuff. And yeah, maybe we'll do different stuff in post production. If you see me looking after the camera over to this side, my son Isaac is here. Say hi, Isaac.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. I swear you were gonna say hi, Isaac. Anyway, so I guess we'll just kind of start painting. So, to start out here, I've basically blocked out what the image that I'm going to be starting with here. Uh, this is one of my own images that I'm beginning with, and I have my reference that I'm going from on the computer, which I'm looking off to the side here for that. The reason I do that is mostly because I always have a very clear image on the computer. It also allows you to do a couple of different things. You can zoom in, you can blow up certain areas that you really want to look at, some detail in. You can adjust certain things like contrast levels and change it to get closer to that image that you have inside your head. That can be very useful. Another way to do that is if you don't have that type of ability, you can print out multiple images that are already blown up. If you don't have the ability to have your computer for reference all the time, you can print out several images, which is what I used to do in the past quite often, and I'd have different images in different types of color shades, like red, green, blue. I would eliminate every color except red, green, and blue and have each image only in those colors, which give you a nice idea of a different type of value in each of the colors that you're working with. Because remember, all colors start with three major colors: yellow, red, and blue. Every color is made out of those three. But so if you print out those things and then take a look at that, and then remember that those three colors are the only ones that make them up, it sometimes can help you to mix up your colors as you go. And I only ever really mix up colors as I go. I know a lot of other artists, they mix up colors to paint with all of their colors all at once, and that can be helpful. For the style of painting that I kind of use, it's not always helpful for me in particular. It's kind of like a bit of a mental math thing that you kind of have to do as you're mixing colors to say, okay, I like this one, I'll use that. But other people may find it useful to mix up all of the colors that you're going to use in the entirety of your painting before you start. But that also keeps me from starting the painting a lot of times because I don't want to do that much work to begin with. So I'll just jump in and start. Either way, as long as you get paint on the canvas, is probably good for you. So I'm going to block out, in post-production here, when you're editing, which you should probably do, is show them an image of the canvas so they can see, or show them the reference that I'm working off. Anyway.
Yeah, it looks horrible if you look at it through this camera.
Yeah, if you look at a computer screen right now with that camera, it's not going to look good. Alright, well, to let you know, I'm working with acrylics, just acrylics. They're faster, they dry a little faster, and they're also a little bit cheaper than, well, quite a lot cheaper actually than oil paint, and I like the way that they mix. Some people can have a hard time to figure out how they mix, but as long as you start, get a little practice at it, it's not a big deal. I'm going to start off with like one color just to kind of get some paint on the canvas, and all of these areas that I'm going to start painting are not entirely just this one color, but I'm going to just get a bunch of color on it, try to cover some areas first, and then move to detail later. So we'll just kind of start and on the edges of the canvas, because this canvas wraps around completely, I may or may not be framing this since I don't know how I'm going to present it at the end. I always try to remind myself to actually paint the edges of the canvas as well, just in case you're going to just in case you're just going to show it like that painting up there, one of those things with no.
Shoot, how do I?
You gotta turn the handle on the back.
Oh.
Not that one, the back. This. You turn this right or left, and you can tilt.
Oh, okay.
See, that's how all of them work. Now you're gonna have to
Like
tighten it
that
back
photo
up where
right
you can
there.
get. Yeah, that painting. So that painting, if you're gonna display it just like that, you would want to make sure to get all the paint around all the edges.
Okay.
Alright, so just laying in some brush strokes. And if you'll notice, see around this area, I use a lot of medium in my paint. It does two things. One, it makes your paint a lot depending on what kind that you get. This is gloss medium, there's flat medium, there's high gloss medium. You can mix those with your acrylic paints and it makes your paint flow a lot easier, a whole lot easier, rather than mixing it with water. It makes it somewhat a little more transparent, but not as transparent if you were to just mix it with water. And it also makes your paint go farther, which if you're a starving artist, which as many people are, myself always included, that's also a good thing, making things a little bit go further so you're not constantly buying paint. I didn't lay that in at all. Okay, just paint it over it.
Do you blend your brush strokes?
Yeah, like I do a lot of blending with like while it's on the canvas. A lot of times, like I won't mix up the perfect paint color on my palette that I want to use, but I will use the paint that's already on the canvas. I like to do that because it's faster, and it also, in some areas that I like the colors to bleed together, it's a really nice quick way to get them to blend nicely, especially like things like landscapes, things like that where you're looking at things from a distance. It makes it a lot easier to blend it on the canvas. It kind of mimics what you see in a photo a little bit better. For instance, like here, I may not have a lot of blending on the canvas, maybe. We'll see how that goes. But the wood grain that this is actually back here, I may do quite a bit of blending on the canvas. Just depends what technique you're looking for, what you want it to look like when you're done. Okay, so a lot of this area, I'm not probably going to have it too blended. I'm going to go over top here and with a dry brush, or mostly dry, just a painting pans, going to some brush strokes. And you see how this paint over here that I've already laid in there, it's already almost started to dry, so I can't brush much. And this is tending to be what you'll get when you have acrylic medium in your paint. This type of thing, not sure how close you can see there on the camera, but if I brush through this, it's not because all of that paint is dry, it's because the edges of your paint, when you're using the acrylic medium, it does dry faster. So that will always be there unless I go over top again. So if I want that line not to be there, I'm gonna have to go over top with some more. But at the moment, I'm okay with it.
Have you explained yet why there's the colored lines and stuff on there?
No, probably not. Well, that is a technique that I learned from a painting professor I had in college. Not a lot of people use that, but what it does is, otherwise normally you would have just with pencil or I don't know, whatever you want to lay out your image on your canvas. Usually it's pencil. They'll just you'll go through and you'll place where you want it, whether or not you're sketching it out or you're tracing from a projected image that you've gotten or something like that. What you want to do there is just make sure you've got your image on the canvas. Well, what he felt that there was it's a pain in the butt to try to keep painting over top of it, and a lot of times even with acrylic, you will have a lot of bleeding of that graphite into your paint, or you'll paint over something and then the whole thing is completely gone and you can't see where that line was anymore. So it does help to use a whole bunch of different kind of random colors. So it takes a little bit more work, but for what it does for you at the end is much better. It allows you to get that image on there, and that image is always going to stay there. It won't bleed into the rest of your paint. However, when you're trying to, say, bud up two different colors, so if I paint this color and then this color, these two areas here, and in between there, I don't quite get those two colors to completely cover up that line, that's actually okay. Some of those colors showing through, even though they may not be the exact colors that you wanted in that painting, it kind of gives you like, kind of like the happy accident kind of idea. It does have a very, very small showing of that color in between those two shapes you laid in. So it gives you a separation in between it. And it works if you're thinking about it in your head, that all colors, every color in the rainbow is in every single color that we have. Our eyes just see this is blue and the other thing is whatever color that you've got, but the only thing reflected that your eyes are seeing is blue. So technically all of the colors that you have, they're all bouncing off of every painting that you look at. It's in the air, it's there. You just don't notice in the end result those lines, you don't see them, but it does kind of have an effect that it ensures that you'll always have paint over everything on your canvas, and it gives you a good indication throughout your painting. Even if you spill something on it, you're not going to lose your original image. Things like that can happen. Alright, so blues. We got a lot of blue up here in this floor area. Back some of that off with some water. And yeah, when I'm painting, I like to make sure to get the brightest and more impactful colors on my canvas first. Usually I'll start with those because it's a good indicator of what is going to be the most controlling colors that are in my image that I'm creating. I think I'm over top of that with something else. All the way down.
So what exactly is that blue over there?
In this area?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're taking a look at the image, it's got this blue reflection. This reflection, honestly, originally in the original photo, it wasn't blue. But what I did is I took it into a Photoshop program, and basically it's as if I put camera filters on my camera, and you'll see that a lot in landscape photos. That what they'll do is they'll put filters over top of it, so your sunsets and things that are like super cool, they've probably got a filter over it to make it oranger, yellower, brighter, things like that. So it's an after your photo is taken effect to make a certain color pop out a little more.
But where's the blue?
What do you mean, where's the blue?
Like, where's the blue coming from?
Like I said, there's a little bit of blue. This will be a little bit of reflection, probably off of this thing that's over here, and there's reflection maybe off of that thing that's over there. So in this photo originally, you wouldn't notice any blue in it, but I like blue. I like the way it makes this image look. So it's actually pulling that as a reflection from somewhere else. So it reflects and it looks like it's blue. Yeah.
This is gonna be hard to show what you're pointing at.
Yeah. You might have to figure out how to do a split screen or something. Know what I mean?
They can't see your photo at all and can't decide. Can't see what.
That's why you'd have to do a split screen. You understand what a split screen is?
Not the way that you're implying.
Like a little picture up in here on the side. This is the picture of the image that we're creating. This is the overall picture of that dude painting.
Well, yeah, but unless you're pointing at the canvas, they can't see whatever you're pointing at the screen.
Okay, so up in this area, there is a little bit of blue, which honestly, I probably won't even put that in there. Like this thing is supposed to be originally blue. I'm probably not going to put that in. That there, I think, is reflecting a lot of the blue that you're seeing up here and down here and there. And this, I think some of that is blue. Probably won't make it blue. But yeah, does that help?
Yes.
Maybe. Okay.
It does.
Alright. Ooh, that's a lot of little detailed color. Okay, guess we'll just lay it in.
What were you just talking about?
This part? How small and detailed some of these colors are going to be up in here?
Yeah.
I think I'm probably using a little bit too large of a brush right now. But I'm just laying color in right now, so I'm not terribly worried by it. one of the benefits to using acrylic medium, gloss medium with it is it makes it a lot easier to make like water spots. And like with this one, especially up in this glass here, this is almost entirely, like there's water spots on the glass that you see from the inside, and then all of this is essentially just liquid. So it makes some nice effects using the gloss medium mixed with a little bit of water. It keeps these small round bubbles that you have with water as you're laying it on your canvas. It's not saying that you can't remove them, but it will dry kind of like that, a little more separated, giving you that effect of water. Looks kind of cool. And that's supposed to be real light. There's bluish down here. This is all just laying in possible colors. Some darker down here. Ish.
They can't see anything below your legs.
Okay, that's fine. They could probably hear me mixing it with the water. What I'm doing is just washing out my brush. Where did I put my, this one? I do have some blue down in here. Could do. I want to zoom in a little.
There's such a little bit of a blue gleam.
Yeah. This blue over here really comes over, but that's a lot of mixing with the blue and the brownish from the table. I think I'll probably mix up brown and mix that in with it a little more as I go on the canvas. But this there's blue and there's green down in here, and in this area. I think I might I think I might actually mix up just a little bit of white with it to lighten it up. Just a hair. The type of paints I'm using, they're just acrylics that you're buying. I mean, heck, I think these are bought from Walmart. Where you buy your paints means honestly very little. Some people are going to try to tell you that some paints are higher quality. As long as you're not really buying temper paints, most acrylics nowadays are just about as good quality. Some higher, more expensive brands might, maybe, they might flow a little better, like this Masters Touch. Masters Touch is a pretty good quality brand, but these here are make it. These here, that's a Walmart special. You buy these in a pack. Not expensive, like $8, and I got a whole range of all different kind of colors in these little tubes. These here, these can run $8, $9, $10, maybe even more sometimes with the size of these. This one, honestly, I think probably costs about $12. Master's Touch is a really well-known, good quality paint, and it might flow better, but as far as making actual art from it, you can make high quality art with crap. It's not a big deal. So if you're worried about the amount of money you spend on paint, cheap paint, not a big deal. So there's enough acrylic medium in the blue that I already mixed up here. And even though it's a small area, I do kind of want to get this color right. So what I'm going to do is just mix up a little bit of white.
Can you turn your thing a little bit more so they can see?
Like that?
Well.
What?
It's okay, it's okay.
Did you want it different?
Well, I was thinking you just like turn it like this from that angle that you're already at.
Oh, okay, like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, maybe next time we'll put get another camera and then aim it on the ceiling where we have mirrors, so I won't have to move and you can do it just like a cooking show. See what I... No. Tell you about how when I was in college they used to make us do all of the colors that were in your painting first. They used to make us mix them all up.
Really?
Yeah, and then get a little, and you'd have to sometimes have on this side of your whole painting little squares of every color that was supposed to be in it. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the butt, but
so you had to like make a paint by numbers.
It's not really a paint by numbers. It was just a showing that you had the exact colors planned out that you knew you were going to use within your whole painting.
But you can't really mix because you can't get like the same color again.
Yeah, you can.
You can?
That's what they're teaching you, to be able to, by eye, mix every single color
into the
exact color that you need.
Oh.
So that when you're mixing stuff, you don't say, oh, well, that's close enough. And then you're like painting a whole section of your painting, and you're like looking at it at the end, like, that color looks like crap on there, which can happen. And don't get me wrong, I've cut corners and I've done that, and I've realized, oh, that's really bad. And then you have to go over and fix it, paint the whole piece again. Yeah. I did a whole house, like a big house where like half of it, this whole piece, was all this huge sided and very detailed house that was it was like a light yellow, but it didn't work with the whole painting. I got it on there and it didn't work right. It looked bad. It looked dull and flat and ugly.
Oh, you're talking about that one?
Yeah, you probably remember it. And then I went back and repainted all of the whole house. Every single, like, it was sided and it had siding and all the detail with all the siding. It was such a pain in the butt.
Have you even gone back to that and finished it?
I even finished it. It's done.
It's done?
Yeah, it's done, and it's Kurt's. You're not thinking about that one.
I'm
You're
not.
thinking about the Buffalo Bill house I was painting.
Oh.
That's not the one. This is the house I lived in college.
Oh.
That was a different one. Painting houses is fun. this painting of houses as a subject. That's fun.
This is inside house.
What?
What?
What are you talking about?
What?
Using me. I've got more room on this. Okay. Have that edge. Huh. That's that white edge. This is not the white edge. Okay. And that runs up to the glass. There's a lot less blue in here than I thought now. That's not blue, that's not blue. Most of that's reflection. Jeez. That's kind of a pain. Gonna have to decide what's reflection in the glass and what's not. One of the time frames I started painting, and then I realized, gosh dang it, this one's gonna be a lot more work than I really wanted it to be. With me, I do that pretty often. I'll start a painting and I'm like, oh wow, I like it, I like this is cool. And then I go through it and I start it and I realize, dang, there's a lot of areas in here that look super cool and it's just gonna be a lot of work and you gotta really slog through a whole bunch of detail. They always end up looking good, so try not to get discouraged, especially when you're just putting paint on canvas for the first time. It's not a big deal. Alright, so here's one example. I'm going to slightly change some of the color that I have in this. And I'm just going to kind of mix it here on the fly. Some of it's going to be a little bit lighter. And that's the kind of painting that I like to do, usually. So here, this one's going to be a little lighter blue. Quite a lot lighter blue as it turns out. That's a lot of detail in here. Probably not what I want to do right at the beginning. That's the other thing. Remember when I said, Isaac, that to start with your larger areas, the areas that are going to impact your painting more? I'm kind of going against that right now, trying to lay in some of the detail, which is probably what I am going to in about 2 minutes stop doing and start doing what I told myself I should do.
Do you do that quite often?
In a painting? Yeah. Yeah. You know that time frame where you're working on stuff like, I don't know, Legos or a mission on Minecraft, or I don't know. You get bogged down in this other stuff. You're building something in Minecraft and you want to make, you do the whole big outside walls and you have this whole plan you're going to start with. And then you kind of get bogged down in the details of how this one thing looks, and it slows you down. And then
Yeah.
you realize after like 20 minutes goes by, you've done nothing but this little 5-block section or something. Same thing happens in painting, you just get bogged down with this. Probably not the best thing for you to remember that, oh, hey, look, I've done 20 minutes on this one thing and it kind of not really making a lot of headway. Cool. Can stop. Go to the rest stuff. That happens to me all the time. I'm sure a lot of people it happens to. Oh, I'll leave that part there for now. And I can see if I can go sideways. No. Okay, that's the end of the image. I'll go to now. Let's lay in some of this and start making some decisions about what that's going to be. In this whole image we've got all of this. This is yellow. So what I'm going to want to do is I want to take some of the yellow that I'm going to put in here, and I want it to be close, real close to the same yellow that's right here around the wine glass stem. So I'm kind of gonna force it to be that. So to mix it up, certainly gonna have a blend of about 2 different colors here. And you know how on like painting shows like Bob Ross and everything, he'll show you at the very beginning or run a little scroll at the bottom of the screen, like it's right down in here. You're gonna have the bottom of the screen that shows you all the colors. That's not a big deal. No, it doesn't matter what colors you specifically use, unless you're gonna try to replicate this exact thing, which I wouldn't recommend trying to do that. You know, do that stuff. But if you really want to know, yeah, this is cadmium yellow and primary yellow. The other one was phthalo blue. It's not too terrible big a deal. I also need one of those little trays down here so I can just throw my paints back.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't do that yet. I don't have it on there. Okay, I'll use that. So if I'm going to be mixing that, I'll not only want my yellows within here, I'm going to want browns, and to keep the color up, I'm not going to use a specific brown. What I'm probably going to end up doing is kind of a red, and give me a violet. Maybe I'll cut that off with some green. Do some red and green. What happens when you mix red and green?
I know.
You don't know?
I know.
Come on. Do I have to paint up a color wheel again?
No.
Remember what I did last time?
Red, green.
When you couldn't remember your color wheel?
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas colors.
You make Christmas?
Yeah, with red and green.
Mix red and green, you make Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's start off with the red and green. I mean, if you can see that. some of it. It's tough because I'm not using a completely white palette. Using a palette I've already got some stuff on. Alright, so we got some red, green, that's a lot of green. We don't need much. Mixing red and green together. What color is that making?
Brown.
Pretty damn close to brown. Because that is a complementary color to the red. The green is complementary color to the red. It doesn't mean it just always makes brown. It makes it duller, darker, and that, in this case, ends up looking brown. Now, if you mixed up a complementary color from yellow, what would that be? What's the complement to yellow?
Violet?
Yes, violet. Good job.
Okay.
Good job.
Wait, what does that make?
What does violet make?
Yeah, like violet and yellow.
Violet and yellow? It's actually close to a brown as well. It's just a different tone of brown.
Oh, is it just like different tones of brown for the different complements?
Yeah. Honestly, I really wish I had and could mix up. Just throw colors. I need a color wheel here to show you as you're looking at it. I remember when I was in my studio at the old house, I just took colors and then slapped them on the wall for you and explained to you what those colors did as they mixed, and it worked well. I should have just cut that off of the wall. That was only drywall.
Let's just cut the whole piece
Yeah,
off.
just cut the piece out of the wall.
But isn't that in the shed?
It was the studio, yeah.
So we can't take it off.
What, you mean you can't cut a piece of drywall off?
Well,
Sure you can.
okay.
I've done it a lot. Actually, you can ask your Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob bought the shed. So it's on his wall. They probably cut it off themselves, painted over it.
Hmm.
I don't know. Alright, so yellow. Let's mix up some of that yellow and get some of it on there. Gosh dang, I'm gonna need more brown. I'm gonna need a lot more of that. So let's stop babying this and just start going. It's gonna be a little too red, I think. Unless I really want this stuff to...
We're gonna be maroon.
No, this is a little more maroon than it was, because I just got a little too excited and didn't plan it out in my brain before I started mixing. You know what? Let's kind of go with that. Let's not give a crap about what that stuff is yet. All right. So I'm starting to get a little impatient. I'm not gonna play around with stuff too much. I'm just gonna lay in some color. Does that look maroon?
Yes.
It does. A little brown, maybe. I don't know. I got no idea what the camera's picking up, but to me it looks a lot more brown.
Yeah. Well, it definitely shows red in the.
Yeah.
What is maroon color again? I might be just
Maroon is a darker-ish brown.
Is it reddish?
Yeah, reddish brown.
Okay, so I did get it right.
Yeah.
Looks like a nice, like, beef color.
Beef? What, like you want your hamburgers to be this color?
Yeah. Is that not what you want your hamburgers to be?
I don't know. Maybe. Just laying in some color and not really caring too much about exactly what it's going to look like. Go right here. Do I want to do this shadow in this color? Probably not. But what I can do is lay this color in and then make sure the shadow comes over top of it.
So what exactly are you doing when you like lay the color in?
Honestly, I'm just talking about putting color on the canvas that is maybe not exactly what it's going to end up being when I'm done, but it just gives me a great starting point, and it's honestly pretty close. As you go, like when you first start out to paint, you can get bogged down by, what if my color is not exactly right? Oh man, I'm gonna have to go back and repaint something. Well, let me tell you, unless even if you're, say, Picasso or some amazing artist, you're gonna go back and repaint stuff. You're going to. You should. You should adjust it, because then after you've got your entire canvas covered with paint, then you can start painting. Really, painting doesn't actually happen until you have the whole thing covered with something. You need something to start with, something to make those really tiny decisions of the exact color that this thing's supposed to be. You know, say I don't have this brown exactly right. That's fine. I just needed a brown that was a lot closer to the color that it's going to end up being, rather than the freaking white canvas that it is right now. So when I say just lay in some color, get something close, lay it on that canvas, which is why I'm using just a palette knife right now. I'm just putting it on there. So it gets you closer to that end image that you're going for, but I'm not terribly worried about it being the exact perfect color. Like, I might just go through and change all of this 3 times.
3 times?
Sure, why not? I've had paintings where I've done that. Makes it seem like you're doing a whole bunch more work, but honestly, yeah, a painting that you're working on, trying to get perfect, yeah, it is a lot of work. You might go through and repaint things a few times. I mean, this is a full-blown, actual, artistic kind of painting. It's not the kind of painting that you're gonna want to do necessarily with, like, you know, the painting you get at the Tipsy Canvas or something.
The
what? You know, those painting classes that you do. I've taught those painting classes before. You come up with a fairly easily reproducible type of image, and you start painting it. And then when you do, other people paint what you're painting, and you just kind of keep going with that type of easily reproducible images, and they end up looking nice, but you can tell there's going to be a difference between when this one's done and when those are done. Those are done in probably, I don't know, maybe half hour.
Half hour?
Sure.
You've been going for like 50 minutes now.
Well, yeah, it's because this is different, and you don't have to stop and explain everything you're doing. And this type of painting is just much more detailed than the rest of those. This isn't meant to be the quick, easily reproducible painting.
Well then, how much time would you say this would take?
This, like, from complete end result, it could be, I don't know, it could be maybe 20 hours.
20 hours?
I've done paintings with more.
Wow.
That painting up there, I don't know, I wouldn't even consider that done, and it took,
Oh wait, I'm showing that one.
10 hours at least.
Yeah, that one would take at least 10 hours.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe?
Maybe. To do with that, I don't know, that did take about, I don't know. Yeah, it probably took about 8-10 hours. But it's a lot different when you gotta stop and start, when you only got a couple hours at a time. It would be a lot different. than if you had to, that was the only thing you had to do. You had 3 days to work. You just worked the whole time. That can be a lot different. Sometimes you just get into a flow and things go really, really well. Sometimes you have to stop and start because things aren't working very well. Don't ever get frustrated that a painting is taking too long. It's not good for you artistically. And I'll just lay some in here. Okay. A little bit there.
So you're kind of just like splashing color on there right now?
I'm just laying color in because I'm trying to get paint on the canvas right now. That's mostly what I'm trying to do.
So you can see where like you're gonna go?
Yeah. Yeah, so I can see where the whole thing is gonna end up going.
Okay. You know what we should do with this?
What?
We should make it so we have a time lapse of you, like, doing all of this.
Yeah, I kind of figured because that's what I was talking about with post-production stuff. And then when we get to something interesting that we talk about, we can go to that.
So you kind of just want to fast forward through it all.
Yeah.
So you just get to.
You could fast forward a little. Yeah.
So we're gonna fast forward until you're talking.
That's not too bad.
Because I was thinking like after you're done, like talking and stuff.
Fast forward.
No, like make.
Faster.
No, make like a time lapse of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could work. Should send this to Casey.
Yeah. I'm not gonna include that part in there.
Oh, why not?
Because I'm not gonna include most of the parts of that we're editing.
We're editing.
Of it, like talking about editing. I'm just gonna fast forward through this. Just gonna hear like random it's like
Decide kind of real quickly what I think I want this to be. Because I could choose to use a different brush right here. I could use a fan brush, I could use this brush, and it would end up making a different effect as onto what it's going to look like here. But once again, I'm reminding myself, I'm just laying color in, so.
just laying it in.
So I'll use one with a whole lot of control. And just start putting some down. That's crazy. What the hell did I? Oh, because I got it on there.
What'd you do?
A little brown on the brush. That's fine.
Isn't that what you want?
Yeah, a little bit. Probably not as much as I had right there of it. So, you know, this is probably not great. I'm not getting a lot of. This is a little wider than I wanted.
Okay. So you would add like a little bit of green?
Green? No.
No, a little bit of violet to make it darker?
Maybe. Well, with this color, what I'd probably do is add a little bit of this stuff.
Okay.
Like, no, it's not gonna blend.
Oh, Ellie can't see it, what you're doing at all. It's a weird table.
It's a weird table.
Yeah. At least so far. We've hit the hour point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that good or bad?
I don't know. Depends. It's gonna be an hour for like actual footage.
I don't know. Maybe we'll just not do that much.
Yeah, I might just like skip over so much. We're only like
Maybe.
10 minutes in.
We could.
I'll just be doing 10 minutes.
You know what's gonna suck?
What?
Blending this blue into the brown.
Yeah. And I have to blend like a dark brown into the blue and then to the
I
lighter
don't want it
stuff.
to bleed into the yellow to make it
Mm-hmm.
green.
Yeah, that would be good.
I might have to actually end up doing a wash over top, but I probably should have done starting off. Put a wash over the top.
A what?
A wash. Wash. You know what that means?
No.
Okay. Wash is a technique where you you want the color that you have color underneath it, or just a blank canvas, and you want to have the color that you are painting basically watered down or diluted enough to have the other color show underneath, and you wash the whole painting so it blends over top, but it's very transparent. You still don't get it, do you? I've done it before. I showed you in several other paintings. You've seen it.
I have?
Yes, you have. Of course you have.
Of course I have. Of course. Of course.
Mixing up some more brown. Not too dark. That's probably too dark already. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Really ugly dark. That's not what I wanted at all.
Put in some more red.
I'm gonna have to now. A lot more. Crap. Better. A little darker still. Yellow. Lighten some of that up. A lot of the lighter colors don't have as much impact when you're mixing them.
You don't?
Nope, they don't quite go as far with moving that color to the color that you want.
Mm-hmm. This is still not the color? messy palette.
Yeah, I like messy palettes. I do. I like it when the palettes are messy, colorful, empty. Palette might be kind of nice to paint on sometimes, but it's also much more fun to see what you've done before. You're like, oh gosh, I'm trying to make this exact color and thinking about it. It's a color you're coming up out of your head, and a lot of times you're like, oh, look over there, that one's close. I like it that color, so I'll get towards that one. I don't know, it's just me. I like my painting stuff to be a little messy sometimes.
So you have a reference from past paintings?
Maybe, yeah. A little bit.
That's a much lighter brown.
Yeah. So awful transparent too.
Yeah. Coming up on a kind of a stopping point.
I don't know. Why? You're getting tough? Getting bored?
No, it's just 4:44.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff we need to do?
Yeah, like dinner.
What? Dinner? You need to eat 3 times a day or something?
Yeah.
What the crap?
I know, it's kind of hard.
When I bought you, they told me you
Wait,
would not
what?
have to. What?
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 Never mind.
What?
It assured me that this model would not be one of those ones that you had to feed all the damn time. Apparently not.
Model? Excuse me?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Well, then what about your other one?
That one we had to grow.
You had to grow?
Yep, pick it out of the garden. Water it all the time like a chia pet.
Huh.
Yep.
What's a jade pet?
Chia pet.
Gia pet. What's a Gia pet?
Ah, jeez.
No answer then?
No.
Oh, okay.
I've already said too much.
Already said too much. It's looking kind of good.
You like the way it's going?
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah, some parts.
Some parts?
Sure. Some parts looking alright, some parts maybe not.
Hmm.
Tough to tell right now. Okay, so
Yes.
so you see one of the reasons why I want the blue and then the yellow and then starting out with the base of the kind of brown maroon. So it's not necessarily in this photo, but what I'm seeing in my head and knowing is happening, that we have yellow, reddish, and blue. One thing I'd like to do is increase the tension in between the primary colors. So I knew at least in this section we're going to have blue, red, yellow. And it's going to very much seem like that. I'll make it more brown and probably as we go and tone it down a little. But I want to start out with that really big impact difference. It makes things pop a lot. Yeah, what? Tell them. Tell them.
No, look at the camera more.
Okay, I'll look at the camera. I'm sorry. Director's getting mad at me.
Director.
Producer's over here yelling at me.
Get back to work.
Get back to work.
So what exactly do you like about this photo?
Well, like, why did I choose it?
Yeah.
I liked this a lot. A whole lot. This area was great. I liked a lot when I played with some of the color on it and I got reflection here, reflection up here. The design is good of it. Like I've got a focal point here, obviously with that, but there's some detail here to draw your eye, and there's some reflection over here that works really well too, that draws an eye. So we have three places really to take a look at. One focal point, it's a good element of design, slightly offset in the whole picture frame. I like usually that your focal point is not directly in the middle of your frame. It's a good element of design to offset it a little bit, creates a little bit more interest when you're looking at something. Just elements of design that worked really well when I took it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, getting some straight paint on there now.
Some what?
Yeah, just right into that paint instead of the stuff that was decently mixed up with the medium. So it's much more opaque, doesn't flow as well. That's okay, got enough paint on it that it'll work out well. Yeah, I can guarantee, looking at it now, the way it is, like this entire blue section, what I'm probably going to end up doing is repainting a lot of it, putting more blue on top of it, and have a whole feeling where it's going this direction, where the brush strokes actually make it go this direction a little too. You can already tell that that's happening. That might be a mistake. Getting my brush wet right there. Yep, a little bit. What do you think?
Well, it looks good.
Good job laying in some colors, maybe.
Yeah.
There's one thing I know that's gonna happen.
Though you haven't started on any of the walls or the window.
No.
Saving that for later or something?
Not really. Just haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
Goes up. There. Fade. There.
I just realized this, but
What?
they can see your tattoo.
Which one?
The one on your arm?
That one?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You think I'm not gonna be able to cover up my tattoo?
Well, yeah, well, no, obviously, but I just now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't know why you just realized that.
Well, I can't really see it, like on the angle that I'm at. So like, look at the computer screen
I see.
and see you. Like, oh yeah, that's there.
Yeah. Frick. Oh, good.
We have like an hour and 20 minutes on here.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, here, do something for me. We can stop it, and then you can. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to send it to Casey. I can send it to Casey though. You email it to me. Figure out how to do that. It'll be fun. You
Can we
wanna
stop
edit
it?
Yeah, stop it.